there. So if you have questions, especially, consider you folks our neighbors. I'm right down the street, so if you need something, just let us know, and we come and help you out. There's a little parts list here. This is not specific. It just, again, is more of a lingo and terminology that goes through what each of those are. This is more for the whips and stuff. What I have said, it truly applies to whips and slide gates as well. There's no difference really in the operation. It has a stop collar, it has the same, it has a hoist. You need to, again, the stop collar needs to be set properly, and again, grease the stem. One of the most common reason a fabricated slide gate will leak excessively is when the contractor gets grout on the plastic seats. They will damage it, then it won't seal. We always say, please clean it properly, because most fabricated gates are mounted on a pad of grout. So it is more common to get grout on that than it is on a cast iron gate, because it goes on a wall from there. So that is something that we need to be aware of, and I will check that out. Manual operators have a little grease fitting. They recommend once a year. Don't overdo it. Don't put the grease pump there and keep pumping and pumping until you blow a little, the rubber, the O-ring seal out of the bottom. Just a few pump will be sufficient. And again, same thing, these guys, really no spare parts. Now, I don't know how you folks are set up. Do you have a different people who work on the electric operators, or the maintenance people who work, or electrician? The electric operators, we're going to set the limit switch and the torque switch. On the EIM actuators that you have here, they're all mechanical torque switches and mechanical limit switches. Once we set it, they shouldn't change. All right? Unless the stem has changed, stem got replaced, and so forth. But if things stay as they are today, you don't need to change the limit switch. Maybe the torque switch a little bit might need to some fine adjustment, but not the limit switches. Limit switches are positioned, they're mechanical, and even the electronic ones, like limit torque and so forth, you shouldn't really need to change those. But EIM here will be mechanical and should be set. We can, when we go out there, I can show you what to do if you like. Again, if you're not going to do anything with it, but it is very, very simple, very similar to, I always say, garage door opener. It's very simple. It has a setting screw, right, this one right here. In order to set the limits, you need to push this down and lock it before you can actually turn these screws. If this is not set down and locked, these will not move. All right, and then it has a rotation, which way you need to turn it in order to set the limits. Again, we are going to do it, and you shouldn't really need to do it once we leave. Again, this isn't your O&M. This is the torque switch that I said it might need a little fine adjustment. Just bear this in mind. Higher you turn these torques, the stem going to be more susceptible to damage. Meaning, if there is an issue, if there is an obstruction, and you have set that torque switch way high, the operator is capable of putting more torque. So more susceptible to damage. So that's why we usually set these torque switches just enough to be able to operate the gate, nothing more. So reducing the damage. Because what's going to happen with the electric operator, unlike manuals, if something is there, the gate's going to come down, and he's going to try to, whatever obstruction is, to go through it. and the only protection there is your torque switches. So it's going to put out certain torque. If it is not enough, it will stop. But if you set that too high, it's just going to keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it until it reaches that torque setting. And by then it might be too late. So it is imperative to set that torque switches properly, not too high. Again, there are many cases that I have gone up and turned that up a little bit because it wasn't sufficient, especially on a cast iron sluice gate. One of your cast iron slide gates / sluice gate, if you like to call that, it is the self-contained version, meaning the frame comes up, it has a yoke, short pedestal, and EIM actuators. The EIM actuator actually has its own disconnect. Not that every EIM comes with it, but it was an option that owner chose to buy. And then there's a main disconnect here, okay? Obviously you have a redundant system here. This is your main disconnect. So if you need to work on the gate, on the operator, make sure this is shut. Lock out and tag out, and then the disconnect switch on that one, that also can be a small lock on it. Running through what we ran in the office, basically control cabinet right here, disconnect switch on the top, the motor, and the gearbox is right behind it. The stem, as you can see, it's got grease on it, and the reason it looks like that, we haven't run it up and down yet. Once I run it up and down, that will be more uniform. Stem guides, the stem guide is there to support the stem. We try to limit the unsupported stem. That's where the buckling happens. Longer the stem, more chance of buckling. We have mechanical dial position indicator. I will adjust that after the limit switches are set. You do that after positions are set. You have open, close, light. If you have hit the open limit, that goes on. If you have hit the close limit, this light goes on. And if you are halfway, both lights are on. Okay? You have open, close, stop button. And you also have a selector switch here. And the selector switch has 3 positions. Local means here, you're operating from here. Remote, if it is wired to your main control station, and of course off, nothing going to happen. So if these are on, that's on, but that's in the off position. It's basically those buttons won't do anything. If you ever open this to do any work, it's always a nice idea to put a light grease on that O-ring. All right. It's got hundreds of bolts, so it's not easy to get in here. The wiring diagram is practice, good or bad. Everyone leaves that in the operator. The electrician works on it and leaves it in there. So that's a common practice for the future. Then you don't have to try to look for it and fumble around to find it. There is a little light here, which you're only going to see it when the door is open. If gate is not closing and it hasn't made its limit, and you notice you come out here and the gate is not going down, perhaps the first thing is you need to check that. If this torques out, you're going to see that little light turn red. All right, so that means it's torqued out. And if it torqued out, again, As long as the torque was set properly, you need to look for some kind of obstruction. Going down here, again, what you see here, you see your standard cast iron slide gate. The stem guide, stainless steel stem, goes to the what we call the nut pocket. The nut pocket actually is not the one on the top; it's right below that, and there's a brass nut in there. Then you see the top wedges. The top wedges are hooks that, when it goes down, it engages the hook in the back, and then the side wedges, and you can see how the inclined surface, and further those wedges are tapped, further the slide going to be pushed to the seats. You can see the seat right there, and then there's a companion seat on the slide, and that's where your water tightness comes from. These are this assembly actually is known as yoke. For the cast iron gates, this is yoke. If this was a floor stand, you wouldn't see this at all. The stem would just come here. There would be a wall bracket or a slab, and the pedestal would sit here. So this is again known as yoke. This gate is actually has what they call a tongue cover and groove liners. You can see, if you look at inside the groove, there's a stainless steel piece that's screwed into the frame. Is that needed in an application like this? Probably not. It's good for modulating, where there's a frequent operation and that tongue can actually get worn down. With that, I think maybe we'll try to see if we can operate this. So I'm going to put the disconnect on. That is on already. Okay. And if you can see, there's a light on. Now this light's going to be, right now, since it's not set, is going to be all over the place. But I just want to show you. So if I push open, nothing happens. Let's see. And I'm not going to take it all the way down, because again, I want to set that limit before I start fooling around with it. All right, so very easy. Again, I can't do the open again because it's not set, but by just pushing the open and close, you should be able to manipulate the gate. And if you let it all the way up, it's going to hit the limit and it's going to stop. The stem cover, I think, it looks a little too big for me. Maybe it's from another gate. This is 24 inch by 24 inch gate. So when I marked it, actually, it opens up to here. So we might have to find the right stem cover for it. Again, the only maintenance here are going to be for you to keep an eye on the stem and the grease on the stem. Again, this is most likely going to be open all the time, and you're going to, the stem, the grease is not going to disappear on you. It's going to dry up. So to clean that up, get a rag, get some kind of whatever you clean the grease with here, clean it and put a fresh grease on it, and just run it up and down once and leave it there. So the grease is the one that you need to keep an eye. As far as your exercise go, again, everyone sets their own exercise schedule. We like to see every 3 months, less if it'd be even nicer. If there's a wire to the station, you can do it from there. And when we say exercise, we don't mean to take this all the way down and up. What you want to do is, especially if it is closed, you want to break that seat, away from. So I'd be happy if the gate is in a closed position, 3-4 inches. Just break it up, open, and then close. And same thing if it is open. If it is open like this one going to be open, It's still good to exercise it because you get the gears moving and so forth. All right, just a few inches to get things moving.
Is the manual crank always engaged?
Good point. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. There is a, no, it is not. So what you need to do, there is, it's kind of hard to see from there. There is a declutching lever here. The declutching lever is right here. These are the new, the declutching lever for ERM always been here, but they have a bit of a new version of it. And what you need to go with, as far as manual or motor, it is the bottom arrow. So right now, actually, if you look at the tag, this is manual, this is electric, manual, electric. What do you think this clutch is right now? If this is manual, electric, because of this bottom arrow. Yeah. So it is easy to kind of make a mistake because of this long stem.
Now, can you just walk up and flick it, or you have to?
No. Let's say you had no power, and you need to operate it.
Come right over.
You do it in manual, and it's operating manually. But when it goes to electric, it kicks out. You don't have to go automatically. Yeah. All right. There's a little vent here that actually comes loose with the operator. Then we ask the contractor to put it on. You might, in the future, see little grease around here. There's nothing really to be concerned. What it is, they put this here because of the expansion. And what was happening before they had this, as the grease, especially in New England, nights and days and all that, it was expanding and it would pop a seal. Now the pressure just released from here. So it's a little pressure relief. What we talked about, I said the tag is here. That's a Hydrogate number. So if you need anything from us, there's a number there. That's what you will give us so we'll pull all the file and so forth. Okay, and again, sales order numbers are all over the O&M as well. What we have here, we have a cast iron gate. Is a non-self-contained gate. We got a pedestal and a wall bracket. Hand wheel operator. We have 2 stem guides, and then we have the gate down there. The gate itself is same as others, with the exception of size difference. And it is manually operated. There's an arrow right on the hand wheel for operation and stem cover. In fact, I think this stem cover goes with the other one. This stem cover, I think, goes with the other one. Yeah, and the other one, this is a much bigger gate. Here what we have Whips aluminum rear gate. The difference between a rear gate and a regular gate is a downward opening gate. So when you open this gate, actually gate